everyone. In this video, I'm going to be going over Campaign Diary number 11, meeting Balubas and Fion. So last when we left our heroes, they were in Lysara's lair, potentially for the last time, calling her mom, getting really close to her, learning things from her, understanding what she's about and how she's interacting with her new boggles. We started out with Thadon, the Bugbear Rogue, kind of having a heart-to-heart with some of the members of our group and clearing up the air and just understanding their motivations. I really liked that he did that because it just makes sure that characters are reminded of what their motivations are. It felt great as a DM to listen to it, knowing exactly what all my players are going to say, as I've talked with them at length of what their motivations are, what they are looking for as they play. But it was great for all of the other players to hear it out loud. And that took about 40 minutes, I would say, for them to go through all of it. Some of them had some last minute questions for Lysara, the Topaz Dragon, who they questioned if she was actually a Topaz Dragon up until the very end, which was funny. There's no secrecy there. She is indeed a Topaz Dragon. She's an adult Topaz Dragon. There wasn't any secrecy or anything hidden basically throughout the whole Fey realm since they've been here. However, that will change coming up soon. So they finally said their goodbyes with Lysara, and she cast a spell that showed topaz-colored footprints that led them out of the cave and back the way they entered. So they left, and they went down the mountain and into the forest, and I described the forest as being, wild and different colors. You see velvety, fluffy trunks with different colored leaves, or highlighter yellow colors with, just the most abstract colors you can think of, as well as just their feelings and emotions still being dialed up to 11. They then came to this pass in the forest where everything went dark all of a sudden. There was a straight corridor of black and grays with just the footprints lighting their path, which is just a great image of showing just a line of trees in black and just the path before you being lit by the topaz footprints was just something that I saw art for, and I just really wanted to put it in my game. I do have an image that we post on our Discord afterwards of images of things that happened during the game that my brother had started using Midjourney, and it's just been a great way to just connect with the world and have fun memories linked to all of the things they've been encountering. So I'm excited to put that one on there once I find it. And they then came upon a river, and Tink, the human artificer who has been infected with the Fomorian's curse, who rolled horribly on his constitution checks and still has not broken the curse, was given a list of them by Lysara that he's now trying out, one of which is bathing in mud with a goat. And he learned that while the Furbolg druid can both change into a goat and mold earth into mud as long as he has water. But the book did say swamp mud, but so they're potentially going to try that in the future. The dialogue between the two of them was hilarious, and I just feel like all of our sessions have just been really fun. All the dynamics between all of the characters are just laid back. It's been really fun. I've been having a ball writing up these NPCs and giving them funny dialogues and just being very playful. And I feel like that really came to fruition and was highlighted in this episode. And they crossed the river after Waldo showing them what they can do, and they saw a bunch of barrels just scattered about, and they're wandering through these barrels, and they eventually come to a bunch of barrels in front of them, and then there's a doghouse sized house set up in a tree, and Wink, the Eladrin elf wizard, goes and knocks since he speaks Sylvan just in case. And as he's kind of looking around, when you're at the front porch looking around and seeing what people have, he sees a lizard with wings, a fat lizard, green and yellow, sleeping with a mug tucked by his tail. And then he sees a guy wearing a grass sea hat with a red beard and a red leather suit with long blue socks, just passed out with a bottle in his hand, and he pets the dragon, and the dragon snips at him and misses, and has a deep voice tone of a smoking New Yorker, hey, what do you want? And he was kind of taken back, oh my gosh, look at this little cute fellow. And I had fun because the name is Fion of this ale dragon. Alehouse Drake is what it's called, and I just made him as mean and New York as possible, very direct and combative and very insulting. And then Balubas which was a leprechaun, has an Irish accent, which I apologize for anyone who listens to that. I struggled for like a month straight trying to come up with a good accent. I just could not find one, so I just thought of like, the most obnoxious Irish accent I could make, and wrote some dialogue that would help me accentuate that, and just read it off to the players depending on what they asked. And Balubas, this leprechaun, asked the players that his rum has been stolen by some gremlins and that they need to return it to him, and once they do, he'll take them to the gatekeepers as long as they have a crystal the size of his little alehouse drake's head, which is, the size of a fist, and they will let them through. And he said the way he's friends with the gatekeepers because of his lucky charms. Love throwing that line in there. And so he provided the players with a map of where the rat folks' encampment is, and says that he's been trying to get rid of them for a long time. They just stole his ale not too long ago, and he marked the traps that he knows that they have at their base. So the players need to go retrieve the rum that has been stolen. If not the rum, then the head of the Gremlin Lord. And once that has been returned, he will take them to where they want to go. They then had a bunch of questions about like, oh, can we like do business with you and sell your rum for you? And he was like, oh yes, more gold. I love gold. He's a leprechaun. So he's all about gold if they're willing to. They wanted to taste test his ale, and he was like, gold, please. I want some gold. He says he doesn't sell his ales or his drinks for now. He just keeps them all to himself, and he charms people to get it. They're then discussing how they could transport ale to and fro the Fey realm, and he mentioned, you could just make it smaller, and they're like, that's not possible. And then he cast reduce on the barrel and made it smaller, and then made it bigger. He's like, you could do it like that. And then they talked about like, okay, well, will the enlarge reduce spell actually do that? And then I clarify them, no, it wouldn't. It would only reduce the size of the barrel itself. It wouldn't reduce the liquid inside of the barrel, but he somehow has some sort of magic which allows him to do that. They then mentioned if they killed the Gremlin Lord and got his head and returned the rum, would he give them something extra? And he's like, yes, I would give you a half barrel of my drink, and you could take that with you as like extra payment. And they're like, cool. And then they wanted to ask some more clarifying questions, but I just had the Alehouse Drake, Fionn, just be standoffish to them, like, what do you want? Like, no, nothing else. We don't have this kind of stuff. We don't know. You can just need to go on your way. They did mention that the gremlins accompanied themselves with rats, and I think the players assume actual rats, but they will come to find out that these gremlins are aligned themselves with rat folk, who are capable assassins and very bad type of group that like to kill and take and plunder. I'm excited for this next battle. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for them, as they do not know what to expect, and some of these rats can cast spells and they can hide very well, and they're going to be stationed in trees surrounding this encampment, whereas they don't have all of the information. They have way more than they would have had just stumbling upon it, but they actually don't have everything that there is to offer. And so I'm excited to see how they handle having half information, as well as I have planned for them to encounter either a dryad or a pombero, which is like a bird person, is potentially they can run into some pixies. I haven't decided which one they're going to run into. I had to make a decision if they want to just beeline through the forest to get to the encampment or kind of follow the river bend. And they decided to follow the river bend because they want to look for good mud places to try and soak in for Tink's curse. And as far as how I'm handling that curse, I'm having him roll every rest. However, if he does one of these extra things, I will have him roll again with advantage. All he needs to be is a DC 13 Constitution save for his body to basically negate the curse that has been put upon him by Teth the Fomorian, who they killed. However, he's been rolling like 8s and 9s and 4s and really low, so I'm excited to see how that all plays out. There wasn't much happening as far as the plot goes, but it just feels like everyone's having a lot of fun, and I'm having a lot of fun interacting with them with these NPCs. So stay tuned for next week to see how they handle either the Pixies, Dryad, or Pombero, and how they handle the fight with the Gremlin Lords. And so thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.